This is Listen After Watching,
a podcast where we recap and discuss the most mind-bending, twisty, and thought-provoking TV shows and movies out there. I'm Adrian.
and I'm Alicia. Let's dive in. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to your favorite sibling podcast, Listen After Watching. I'm one of your illustrious hosts, Alicia, and I'm here with...
Adrian.
That's my sibling, that is. And we are so
Yes.
excited to talk about The White Lotus today, episode 2.
I'm so glad you stopped the accent because I was about to keep it going. I feel like the turnaround is so fast for this. We're recording Monday after watching it last night, trying to fit it in this week. So we haven't had a lot of time to marinate on it yet.
No, this is fresh
But-
off the dome.
Fresh off the dome, baby, and it shows. We'll see.
This might be one of our best ones yet. Watch.
We should just do it as we're watching.
Wow. Now that, I mean, people actually do that, I'm sure, on
Live
TikTok or something.
podcasting. Yeah, it's too confusing for me. Okay. Anyway, how are you doing, Leash?
I'm pretty good. If you listen to our Severance podcast, you'll know that I've been sick. So,
How did I know this topic was going to come up?
but I'm feeling a lot better. I have tea. I've graduated from scratchy throat to runny nose. So that's where we're at. But I'm good. The weather's getting nicer. I really need to get outside. I'm like starting to feel really restless from not doing anything the past few days. But
yeah, I feel that.
How are you?
I feel that, bro. I'm pretty good. Nothing new really since we recorded on Saturday.
I know.
Yeah, I'm ready to jump back into Thailand.
Let's freaking do it.
This is your perpetual spoiler alert. If you have not watched The White Lotus Season 3, Episode 2, called Special Treatments, go back and watch it. It's on HBO / I guess it's called Max now. And come back and listen to this because we are going to digest all these crazy characters.
Indeed, indeed. Well, we're going to kind of go through the episode in groups or groups of characters that we know, starting with the girls' trip. So what happened this episode with them? Well, true feelings begin to slip between the cracks when Kate and Jacqueline and later Kate and Lori sit down one-on-one. And at breakfast one morning, Kate approaches Victoria Ratliff and reveals that they had met at a baby shower a decade earlier, but Victoria rebuffs her.
What do you think? Just the classic 3 women trifecta. Like 3 women who are pretending to be friends and are friends in name, but like actually secretly hate each other. I love that we're seeing like them each break off into pairs and talk about the other person. It's hilarious. And this time they were talking about the actor character who, of course, we would suspect that they're probably both kind of jealous of.
Yeah.
But I think we've all been in these sorts of situations where it's like, as soon as one person leaves, you're like, oh, da-da-da-da-da-da.
Totally. You know what? In situations I've been in like that before, I really do love those people, you know, even if I'm like talking shit about them because maybe they did something stupid or they're with someone I don't like or whatever, you know, everybody goes through that. And I have been the subject, I'm sure, of people talking about, you're nodding your head like, yeah, obviously.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have.
So, you know, everyone's been the victim of gossip, but it's just like, it is satisfying, I guess, in a way to see it from like all sides. Like you're seeing every conversation where they're talking shit.
Yeah, and just to see how they act to one another's faces versus when they're not there. And just to see like every one of these women is insecure in one way or another. We haven't seen the blonde lady, like her breakout session yet where they're talking
Mhm.
about her, I don't think, but,
No.
even, like, the actor's character is, like, feeling self-conscious, like, Are they talking about me right now?"
Mhm.
So, I think it's just, like, the human nature of us humans.
It's the human nature of us humans, man.
Let's clip that.
Yeah. Clip that. That is a genius take. I told you this would be the best episode yet.
Put that on Reddit. I mean, that's gonna get all the upvotes.
A couple of things I did want to talk about with this group. First of all, there were people online that were saying, I think Lori might be Portia's mom, like trying to connect characters from other seasons.
Mhm.
And I think they said her daughter's name is Ellie, and she sounded much younger because they said she was like throwing furniture and stuff. So that theory's out. Sorry to everyone.
Yeah, that would have been cool. I think we have enough crossover going on to keep us busy.
I think so.
Um,
Also, more monkey foreshadowing. Lori interrupts Jacqueline and Kate talking about her banging, and she's like bangs on the glass and scares them. And then when she leaves, Kate was like, I thought it was a monkey. I think this
yeah,
is not so subtle foreshadowing.
and the banging really sounds like gunshots. It actually
Mhm.
startled me. I think I looked down, like, for a moment during the scene, and then the banging happened, and I was like, "Ah."
Yeah.
But yeah, the monkey themes and foreshadowing continues. Also, the scene at breakfast where Kate approaches Victoria Ratliff was so strange. Victoria was not giving her an inch, anything
No.
to go off of.
I know. I think she just really didn't remember her. She's so, like, benzoed out.
Yeah, I think it was hard to say. It was like, should we read into this more that, like, something weird happened between them or, like, with this other friend whose baby shower it was?
Mhm.
Or is this lady just always so pilled out that she doesn't even remember, like, this baby shower at all?
Yeah.
You would think, though, that I mean, she's, like, a Southern lady. You would think she would at least play along and be like, "Oh, yeah, it's so good to see you again." But she doesn't even do that. She doesn't pretend even. And even the kids are like,
Mm-mm.
"Mom, that was so rude."
Right. I know. Yeah. Yeah, and then we kind of get a peek at how closed off this family is and, like, judgmental and not welcoming and friendly. Like, she says something about Jacqueline, the actress that they're with. She's like, "All actresses are" what does she say?
Prostitutes
"Prostitutes."
anyway.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And, like, the family all laughs, and they're like, "Yeah, gotta give it up, that's true." Except for
That
Piper.
was so weird.
I know.
They're
Yeah, just
just living
nasty.
in a different world.
Mhm. Yeah, another thing that happens with the Goyles is, they get their, like, biometrics tests or whatever by Valentine, and then they're discussing them. It turns out he's trying to flatter all of them. But then Kate is talking about, like, "I eat lots of chicken, lots of turkey, beans." And she's like, "I forced myself to like beans, and now I eat beans." I mean, just like I don't know why this was so I mean, it was bizarre. That's why it was so funny, but I just loved it so much. The bean talk.
Yeah, she was really trying to defend her Austin diet. That was funny.
Mhm.
Well, let's check back in on our next suspects in our list, which are the outlaws. So, this episode, Rick meets with the hotel's spiritual counselor, where he discusses his troubled childhood. That night, Chelsea and Rick dine with Chloe and Greg slash Gary, who is secretive about the details of his life. The hotel patrons then enjoy a performance by Sritala, who later reveals her husband has been hospitalized following a stroke. Rick then tells Chelsea he's making a quick trip to Bangkok.
Mhm. Well, first of all, Rick and in this spiritual counselor session was very interesting to watch. Like, he didn't want to go, but he ended up going because it was like they were going to have to pay for it anyway. But I think a part of him really does want to talk about it. He's just putting up a front and being like super reluctant. Um, and I feel like whether or not the details that he shared were true, people are speculating that maybe he was like kind of lying to this counselor or whatever about his dad specifically. But whether or not that's true, like he obviously had a really messed up childhood.
Yeah, I do get the feeling that he at least wishes he could, like, unpack all of this stuff. I think he's probably, like a lot of men, just doesn't know how or afraid to dig back into the stuff that's really painful.
Mhm.
But he's not giving the spiritual counselor, like, anything to work with.
No, he's just
She
trauma dumping.
Yeah. She's like, any good time from your childhood?" And he's just like, "Well, my mom OD'd when I was 10, and my dad" "Oh, you mean the dad that's dead? Blah, blah, blah."
Mhm.
Um, he does have this interesting line, though, where he says, "I never had an identity. I'm already nothing,"
Mhm.
which is like, is he straight out telling us, like, that's what he's searching for? That's, like, his character's mission in this show is going to be, like, figuring out who he is?
Mhm. Yeah, I think it is. I think his connection with Sritala's husband will tell us what's up with him, but he's
Yeah.
keeping it even a secret from Chloe. So it's really, I think, I don't know, sacred to him whatever whatever he's doing.
Yeah, I think it's buried too down deep right now, but hopefully meeting this guy who is maybe everyone's speculating it's his dad or
Mhm.
someone in his family helps, like, open him up, and we get to the root of what he's so freaking stressed out about.
Mhm.
One moment I wanted to point out was when Chelsea and Rick are having breakfast, maybe lunch or something, and Chloe walks in and says hi to Chelsea. And then Rick is just kind of acting rude and like an asshole. And Chelsea, I think this is the second time Chelsea's like makes an excuse for him and is like, oh, he has a migraine. He blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
I'm just like really intrigued by their relationship and why she's covering for him acting like this.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I might have messed up the names earlier. I keep mixing up Chloe and Chelsea. But I think Chelsea, I don't know. I've definitely been in a situation where I'm like, "Oh, I have to kind of like, I don't know, save face for this other person who like can't is in like a really bad mood or in a bad spot or something." So I understand that impulse, but I think she also she really seems to care about him.
Yeah. And I'm wondering, like, is this just like an acute instance of something bad happening right now in his life? Or is he always like this and she's always
Right.
just making excuses for him? I can't tell,
Yeah, me either.
but we'll
I
see.
think we'll find out. Also, we got a little few seconds of the iconic White Lotus music at the end of Rick's therapy session or whatever you want to call it. Everyone was going crazy for that online.
Yeah, that was good. I've heard talk of them bringing the theme back because of
I
all the
hope not
complaints.
because, oh, really?
Yeah, we'll see. I don't
I hope
know.
they don't.
I
They need
hope
to
they
stick
don't
to their
too.
guns.
I like that they're like bringing it in through the show.
Yeah, me too.
It
Me too.
works. Can we talk about how awkward the Chelsea and Rick and Chloe and Greg dinner conversation was?
Yes. Um, yeah, Greg is giving us nothing about who he is or what he's doing, but I think Rick is like he obviously is like, okay, shady person. I'm kind of a shady person. We're just not gonna. There's an understanding. We're not gonna talk about it. And you're probably escaping. I think he makes some mention of like, a lot of people doing this and that around here. And I think he's just saying, like, in Thailand, probably a lot of people running away from some, you know, responsibilities or consequences or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're both just completely disinterested in getting to know each other too, and it's just these girls wanting to have, like, a cutesy dinner together.
Uh-huh.
Uh, but we'll see how this plays out now that they're all acquainted.
Mhm. Mhm. True. Okay, let's move on to the next crew, the staff. So Gaitok reveals his true feelings to Mook, but she gently dismisses his advances, unfortunately. Then later, Valentine distracts Gaitok at the security gate, and a robbery takes place at the hotel where Chelsea and Chloe are shopping. Also, let's not forget, Belinda and Panchai exchange massages.
Ooh la
Ooh
la.
la 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 la.
They
Well,
were
let's just
getting
right off the bat. I mean, Belinda is hot for Panchai.
I mean, when he walked in his little tidy shorts, it was over.
It was
It was
over
over.
for all us hoes. We were all on our knees.
She's like, "I want you on my stomach. On your stomach."
I know. That was so funny to see her flustered.
Yeah. I like that they're, like, off by themselves, like, having this magical little time, and there's just, like, robberies and, like, scandal.
Right. I know. It'll collide pretty soon.
Oh, yes. What do you think about the Guy Talk and Mook situation?
My poor guy. He gets friend zoned and then he gets pistol whipped. I mean, he's just going through it. But there are some theories out there that Mook is not as innocent as she seems. And I don't know if people are just trying to make a villain out of somebody, but people are speculating that maybe she's in on some of the shady stuff, whether it's like the stuff with Valentine distracting so that those people could come in and rob the store. I don't know if it's that so much, but I feel like Mook, if she is up to some shady stuff, it is for probably a good reason, like for her family or something.
Yeah, she does seem like she has a good heart
Hmm.
from the 2 episodes and maybe scenes I've seen of her. But yeah, I think Mook's too complicated of a woman for this sweet, sweet man. I think she's got some things going on that she doesn't want to bring him into,
Hmm.
and probably rightly so. But so hard to watch because he's the sweetest.
I know.
Um, and then the whole Valentine thing, it definitely seems like he's involved in this robbery. That seems very clear.
Hmm.
I was also thinking initially when I watched it, I was thinking Chloe seems suspicious. Did you?
Yeah, I did too. I don't know exactly why, like, or how, like, why would she need to be in the store or anything? But yeah, it seems like she's. I don't trust Chloe.
Yeah, it was just like several things like her bringing up the store and wanting to go shop and bringing Chelsea and then being in the dressing room. Why is there a dressing room in this jewelry shop? But being in the dressing room the entire time of the robbery, and then she comes out and she's like, "I always miss all the good stuff," or something like that, which is like such a suspicious line to me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But we know she's involved with Greg/Gary, who has been up to no good before.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see them having like a little secret group that preys on the resort or people at the resort, you know?
Yeah, true. There are also some people saying that they hope um that Chloe is kind of working to take Greg down somehow. So maybe that happens.
Mm.
That would be
Maybe
satisfying.
Chloe is there on business.
Mhm.
It
You're gonna
could
regret
be.
the escort service you used to hire her. I think that there are predictions out there. I believe this is probably going to happen, but there are predictions that Chelsea is going to recognize someone wearing the snake jewelry that she was taking a look at. The fact that they mentioned it specifically as like a snake choker thing, and then you see the person grab it off the counter before they leave. I think this is probably true.
Yeah, I think for sure. I wonder who it's gonna be. What if it's like Sritala or something?
That would
Oh,
be
that wouldn't make any sense. That wouldn't make any sense.
that'd be crazy. She's dripping in bling, okay?
Can we talk about her performance and how she fucking crushed it?
She's so good and she knows it.
I wanted to hear more of the song.
You know what was so cute? The little white general manager guy who was like mouthing the words along with her.
He knew all the words.
That was
He's so
adorable.
awkward. Yeah, watch him be evil or something. Also, we need to point out maybe the biggest moment of the episode, which was very subtle. Belinda's having dinner and looks over and sees Greg. And she does a double take and is kind of like, where do I know this person from?
Mhm.
I and we talked about last episode, people have a theory that this season is a prequel. I still think that could be true because they didn't give us that much in this look.
That's true.
I think this could be a red herring, this little look.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out. But that's really all we get is just this tiny little hint of a look on her face.
Mhm.
So we'll see if Belinda has any revelations about who this man is.
Ooh.
Ooh. And lastly, let's talk about our favorite Southern family, the Ratliffs. So, this episode, Piper is upset to learn that Saxon was discussing her sex life with Lachlan. Gross. Timothy also continues receiving calls from high profile publications about his potential involvement in a major money laundering operation. Finally, he connects with his former business partner, Kenny Wen, who is very panicked on the phone.
This family's so weird.
They don't get any better. It keeps getting worse.
Well, Piper
Um,
is certainly turning out to be the sanest person there. It's a wonder that she even is as sane as she is, seeing as how the rest of the family is nuts.
I know. Even the little brother is some kind of creepy in ways. Like, I
Yeah.
can't put my finger on it, but he's also just a little bit off. But I agree. Piper seems to be the only one that I'm like, okay, I see where you're coming from. You're acting as normal as possible in this situation.
Mhm.
In this episode, I think there are some hints that maybe these siblings aren't all blood related. Did you pick
Tell
up
me
on that?
more. No.
Well, it's just like this whole discussion around Piper's sex life and her kind of being offended in a way that seemed a little weird, and Saxon just feeling like he can talk about that and talk about her being hot, which is
Mhm.
weird. So there's a theory out there that they're not all blood related. Maybe the older brother is a half sibling and the son of just Victoria because she does seem to crack up at all of his jokes. But she
Mhm.
also is high out of her mind. So that could be part of it. But I want to learn more because the dynamics don't make sense here. I'm hoping that they're not all
Mhm.
blood related because that would make it slightly less creepy.
I know. I don't know. I didn't pick up on any of that, but it certainly would be a relief. But even if they're half siblings, I mean, come on. Even if they're not blood related and they're just
Yeah.
by
Even if
marriage
they're
related.
all adopted, stop staring at your brother's hairy ass crack, right?
Ew, that was so weird. There were so many gross Saxon parts in this episode where he gets a boner during the massage. He complains that he didn't have a happy ending. And
If
he's not
Mike White
joking.
cares about us at all, he will give him a horrific death or at least extreme embarrassment.
That'd be great. Please, if you're listening.
Embarrassment, yeah. Michael White.
Uh, yep, but I guess the
But
biggest thing is just Timothy's, is that his name?
Timothy,
Timothy?
yeah.
The dad, Timothy's call with his former business partner Kenny, who was voiced by Ki Hui Kwan. Shout out. I recognize that voice
Woo!
from a freaking mile away.
Immediately. He plays such a good, erratic, stressed out character, I think. So it was fun to hear his voice. I don't think we'll ever see him. I think it was probably just like a one or two off thing. But
Yeah.
Timothy is in deep. He is in deep. He first it was one newspaper or something wanting the story, and now it's like multiple ones that have gotten a hold of it, and he's so stressed out because Thailand is like 12 hours different. So it's like completely flip flopped and he can't get a hold of anyone. And
Hmm.
it's kind of fun to watch because I hate the guy. So,
Yeah, he and Rick are funnily enough, because they like kind of butt heads a couple times. They're very similar in their reluctance to be a part of the like healing experience of the resort. They're just like, nah, I'm gonna do my own thing. Although Rick has ulterior motives for being there, so it's understandable for him. But um, yeah, we don't like Timothy. I read an interesting theory on Reddit that I wanted to read. It's by Imposter Sis Admin. They say that had Timothy given up his phone when asked, he would not be implicated on any of the stuff happening with Kenny. His continued use of his phone, despite the hotel staff asking him to deposit it, is what further digs his grave, as all calls are either being recorded or show a clear admission of guilt. Without Tim freaking out and calling everyone, only Kenny is implicated, and Tim's involvement goes entirely under the radar. I know this is probably a stretch, but it would be insanely ironic and poetic for this to happen. Had the guy just taken the time to spend with his family without his phone, he would be in the clear. And I think this is 100% true.
yeah, I love this. I think Timothy is reaping what he's sowed in life,
Hmm.
right? And I'm sure even when he got into this business deal, he knew it wasn't all above board.
Hmm.
So we're getting to see, we didn't see the fuck around part, but we're seeing the find out part, which is great.
Yeah. And I think this is like the reason why I feel like this is definitely true is because we see another scene where that same woman who introduced the family or like greeted the family in their villa, she again asks him to take his phone. So we're getting like another clue that like maybe
Mhm.
he should have listened to them. And
Mhm.
also, another thing that happened in this episode that I saw people talking about is there's a really short scene where, from a distance, we're seeing the Ratliff family walk in to their villa. And I think this is from Timothy's perspective. Like he's seeing his family walk in while he's trying to get a hold of Kenny. But anyway, Lachlan, I think, is talking about the tsunami that happened.
Mhm.
And he's telling the story of this little girl who, I don't know how little, but anyway, she tries to warn people about the tsunami. And we just hear like a little bit of that story and conversation. But in past seasons of The White Lotus, there have been characters who tell stories, but they are like direct analogies to what happens in the season. And this could be that, like, it could be the phone thing, it could be something else, but I think it fits well for the phone thing. Like, staff is telling him, like, hey, hand over your phone, like, it'll be good for you. And he's just not listening, and he's gonna get hit by a tsunami.
Yes. Love it. Love it. I hope that wave smacks him in his big white face.
His big bad accent.
Oh my god, he's getting so much shit for his southern accent.
On the phone, he says something like, he says immediately, but he says it like immediately. And I'm like, come on, bro.
Oh, he's being Draco Malfoy's dad. slash himself.
Hmm.
Um, his accent hasn't taken me out of the show yet, but
Yeah.
I can see how people are upset about it.
Mhm.
I think it's hilarious though when actors slip on their accents. I love it.
Of course, we never do because
No.
we're professionals in it.
No, we don't. Well, what an episode. This was all a lot more character development, it seems, except for the robbery, I guess, is the biggest active thing that happened. But man, I'm excited to see where this season goes. I'm really excited to start to see outside of the resort and more of Thailand. We
Mhm.
know they did that a lot in the last season in Italy. So I think that's going to be really fun.
Yeah, that's gotta happen at some point. So
Yep. We know that Rick's going to Bangkok apparently. So
oh, true. Yeah, I wonder if they'll take us along for that or if we'll just see when he gets back, but I hope we get to see that.
I hope we see him there. I want to see this guy in the hospital.
Is he in the hospital, though?
I don't know. I don't trust what Sritala's telling us here. There's more to the story, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
But we shall see next Sunday.
Yes, keep listening after watching, of course. It's the rules. And yeah, if you're watching Severance, we'll catch you there. But if not, we'll see you here next Wednesday for another White Lotus pod.
Yeah, and you need to be watching Severance, in my opinion, the absolute best show that is out right now. The best show of the last maybe 7 years. I don't know.
I agree.
So highly recommend Severance. And yes, tune in next Wednesday for our next White Lotus episode where we're going to talk about whatever the heck they throw at us this Sunday. But yeah, thanks for listening, y'all. And ขอบคุณมากนะคะ
Oh, wow. Okay, Fluent.
I'm like
Thank
Piper reading
you.
the menu.
See you next
Thanks,
time.
y'all. Bye bye.